All right, we're doing this on Vision. I believe what did I title this? Getting, using, and winning with Vision. So I'm gonna start with a funny story. It was also kind of terrible, but back in 2018 in NA and Masters Grandmasters Hero League, there was a player, I forget the name, but they clearly were using map hacks where they could see the whole vision of the map, right? Which you're like, which you think of some ways how someone could manipulate that, like if you had full vision, but they gradually took it to the extreme, where, for example, let me pull out I'm using the Mad Buddha coaching tool for anyone who is watching. Uh, they would be playing Genji, and I remember there's a pretty popular clip where they play Genji against Leon Black on Tomb of the Spider Queen, which I should probably just switch to that map. But they're playing Genji, and this wall's down, and the other team has like a Medivh, and because they have full vision of the map, the Medivh is like over here, and he's chilling, and the Genji can see them, and the Genji just E's on him, kills, gets a reset. There's like a Hanzo or somebody over here, E's that, kills them, and then I think they eat and killed someone else, and they just got out because again they had total vision because they were cheating, which is terrible and stupid. But I think that's kind of a good tipping point in how strong vision is. If you had vision like that all the time, as like a hack, so unfair. It's so insane. Like how would you die to a gank? You would see everybody coming. If you knew, a Zeratil's right here and you're right here, well then you'd know not to go further than right there. It's very simple, right? Uh, but yeah, just in terms of vision, like going back to how we have limited vision, I always think of with vision, actual vision in real life, like how, like have you ever tried like walking like in really some when it's really dark? Have you ever like tried walking when it's really dark you can't see? Like you tend to walk a little slower, I've noticed. Or if you do walk the same speed, you tend to stumble a little bit more. Uh, that's kind of what I see vision as with HOTS is if you have vision, you can move at the speed you want to move. You can do the things you want to do, or even if you can't, you can do other alternatives. Um, so part of this is going to be just how to establish vision, what we're going to be doing with vision, and or how to establish vision, what to do with the vision immediately, and what you can do when you have complete vision, which is vision of all 5 enemy heroes. And that's the whole thing you want to get is you want to have vision of as many enemy heroes as you can. Um, so starting off, like I always like to think of things in terms of who, what, when, where, why, how. It's just kind of what I learned in like 3rd grade, and I'm just like, man, that's so smart. You can learn everything off that. Generally, who is acquiring vision should be the tanks and the offlaners or the frontliners, generally speaking. So, like let's say if your tank is, let's go Diablo. He should be right here in this bush or in this bush or somewhere just getting vision. Like if we're on this side and we're going that way, he should be getting on these rotations, he should be right over here getting vision. And but the reason you want the vision is again, we want to see the enemy team. Um, the big thing the big thing with getting vision is you got to know when you can get it and when you can't, and know how to get it. Uh, so like for example, you can't just be like over here when the game's starting and on the enemy's team when there's like 4 of them over here, because then you're Diablo, you're dead, right? The big thing you need to do with vision is to start games usually is not face check, but check bushes. Now, I previously just said, of course, tanks and offlaners are usually the type of heroes you want in there getting vision. So, again, Yrel, let's do Yrel Johanna, for example. But who can best check these bushes? A hero like Jaina. You don't know what's here, you're afraid? Hey Jaina, can you Q here? Okay, Q. Okay, that bush is good. Okay, Johanna can go there. Okay, Yrel can go there. These are the kind of things that there's kind of a give and take with the backline and front line. In coordinated play, generally you want to before a match, or even a scrim, if you're going to be playing, if you're going to be like in a dynamic like this with these 3 heroes, you should go over, hey, we're going to need to establish this bush. Maybe go over with the Jaina, hey, make sure you Q in this bush, make sure because again, Q's a low cooldown. We don't want to be blowing W's and E's, which are high cooldowns. But you need to establish where that all the bushes are clear. And so if we establish the bushes are clear, that means we know that that's our area of safety, which is a big thing with vision. Goes from, okay, we can't go near this bush to, hey, this bush is open, so we can go, like our area of safety expands up from up here, from right there. And when your area of safety expands, again, you're able to not just get more vision, but maintain more vision. Does that kind of all make sense?
Yep.
Okay, good. I want to make sure I'm not going too fast right now. But yeah, so yeah, this is one of the main things with starting the game, I think, is having heroes with range that can do that. Junkrat's another good one. If you have a Junkrat that puts a trap, there's not like that's one of the most annoying things, having a Junkrat put a trap there and then just, Q bush one time. Okay, Johanna can walk in it. Granted, Johanna's kind of just just like not overpowered, but she can kind of just walk into bushes a lot of the times where other heroes can't, which, by the way, don't just blindly walk into bushes. The big thing that I always notice with vision that I kind of can't highlight here is, but I can highlight here is, all right, you guys can clearly see, so I'm showing you blue team vision right now, right? You all can see these teams, right? We have Lunara, so she has a wisp which provides vision. I don't see it anywhere on the map right now though. We have Zool and Johanna frontline. I think Johanna just died and came back. And we have Anna Tass, who don't really. Tass provides some vision with his W. Anna can provide some with her Qs, but just looking at the map right now, this team has like no vision right now, right? By the way, this is just a random replay file I found. I was like going through a bunch, and this one I just thought was perfect. Like, this is the perfect situation. This team can't see diddly squat right now. Like, the farthest they can see is right there on the map. They got a vision there, vision there, vision there, vision there. What do you think the red team sees? With Abathur dropping mines, Anubarak probably the diviest tank, Samuro who's just annoying, Rhaegar, and Jaina. What do you think? How much do you think they see? How many heroes do you think they see? All right, no.
Probably 3 or 4.
All right, let's see. All right, we got only 2, but if you look, they got mines there for rotation. They got a tank there. Like this Lunara might think she's safe, but she could die at any second, even with just this because of Abathur. And how did again? This is I know this is like an evenish game right now, right? The first objective just started. The hero kill count's 2-1, not that high. Sure, the wave clears leads big, but the one way you can tell that this game is going to be probably a stomp beyond just looking at that number right there of how short it is one team has just look, they see that, they see all this, and they have a mine here. So if someone goes, so they basically have total vision right here. They have vision basically heading into the bush, unless they go perfectly right here, which they could see. This side they're not really worried about because, they're not gonna. There's probably no one who was ever down here, and they probably saw Lunara down there. Like this team, there's no way they can get ganked. Like, how are you going to surprise the other team? Are you going to send everybody up here slowly? Are you going to send everybody up here slowly? They're going to catch you. Like, they'll just walk away. Whereas blue team, they step up here, here, here. They don't know what's going on. They can't see but 2 heroes. And again, Abathur is one of them, but that's kind of a weird hero. But you kind of see how this game's obviously going to lead into a snowball, right? Just this vision. Like, the other team knows what's going to happen, so they go first. And when they go first, the other team has to outplay them way harder. It's kind of like winning tic-tac-toe. It's almost impossible when you're behind. In fact, it is impossible if the other team's playing right. But this isn't tic-tac-toe. Does this kind of make sense what I'm kind of framing this as?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of the goal. One thing, so I'm gonna actually stick with this view right here for a while instead of going to the Mad Buddha tools real quick. But one thing I notice that I don't like when I'm watching a lot of NA teams, like even like in CCL, which I watch a little bit of, is I'm highlighting right now the mini map. I'm seeing a lot of people not. This is again all levels. This is an everybody thing. This is top bottom. I don't see enough people using this thing. This thing is a. I know I was talking about the guy earlier using cheat codes, but this is an actual cheat code that they give everybody in the game. And when you have this much vision and you could see who's where, I mean, if the Samuro was down here, he'd just be like, "I'm running this lane down. I'm gonna go full forehead because they got 1 damage here. I'm not. The other damage isn't gonna kill me, especially since they probably just saw Lunara and know she's probably low. You know, and that's probably why he's up here feeling fine because he knows, hey, Lunara's down there. Probably knows Lunara's down there. Tassadar's right there. I'm just running. I'm just gonna win this temple. I can outtrade this hero. I can have it. I can win like pretty freely, and that's again just purely off vision, like nothing else, literally nothing else. Just hey, I have vision. I know what I can do, and the other team's like, okay, what can we do? And when you're at hey, what can you do? You're a step behind. That kind of makes sense. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Again, I'm kind of. I hope I'm not going too fast, hopping between stuff. But back to sort of. In fact, let's do the same map. So again, establishing vision early, I think, is really important. So again, like right on this map, these bushes, if you can establish them early, if you can establish this early, that's nice. But really, we want to establish, like early, you want to establish these bushes. And what I mean by that is you stick a tank there, or an offlaner. So again, kind of let's pick another 2 offlaners. Let's do a Stitches right here. No, actually not. Yeah, Stitches is good. Stitches is good because he's unkillable. Stitches can basically free walk in there and not die. And then let's do a Blaze. If your tanks are right here at the start of the game and they have this, they're providing like this much vision, the other team does not, that means one, the other team does not have these bushes. That means your first wave, which is like the key wave that's clashing here, they don't know where they're at. They probably can't go there. Like if they go here, you know, and Blaze stuns them, and Stitches just decides, hey, I'm gonna, if Blaze stuns him right here, and Stitches just like, hey, I'm gonna wrap around and just body block you so easily because I have such a big body. They're like, unless it's like a super beefy tank, they're probably dead. And if you fall behind on that first wave, that's a big deal because if you're behind on the first wave, then that means the other team's controlling the pace. That means this vision advantage stays one-sided. And more importantly, like the one team has it easy, the other team is a step 2 behind. They have to play way harder to come back. So I know I'm kind of talking about how getting a lead is important, but with vision, but how do you get back is kind of a question. The one thing I can always say is that the most important thing, like one of the most important things with HotS, going back to my complaints about the mini map over here, is numbers. Numbers, numbers, numbers. And this is gonna kind of, I know we talked about this a little bit beforehand with how do we do things with vision, but when you have a little bit of vision, when you're having a vision disadvantage and you get a little bit of vision of a kind of a snapshot of their team, like let's say, like again, we're on Sky Temple, we got a 4-man rotate for both teams going here, right? Suddenly, one of their heroes just breaks off up here. As soon as we see that, we have to once we clear our waves, we can absolutely do something with it. So like, let's say, let's pull up a different, let's say we have ETC and we got Kael'thas. Yeah, let's just grab, like, let's just say these are our core, this is our core 4. We're behind, but suddenly, their Zeratul just shows up here. And our offlaner's fine, but as soon as we see that, we have to, as soon as we see that we have our wave clear situation under control, we have to step up. We have to kind of assert ourselves. If we even think they're on the camp, we should 1, run at it, but 2, even if the camp's already done, if we're establishing vision here, we are denying them rotations because they cannot duel us 4v3. And suddenly by doing something like this, if they get nothing done, if Zertil's up here and let's say we have, I don't know, Sonya, and Sonya's just like, hey, I'm out. Like Sonya caught it and got out. Suddenly their advantage is a disadvantage. Because even though, yeah, they got pressure on Sonya, unless they're doing something with it by actively sieging, we have control of this rotation, which means we have control of the wave clear. Which, again, that's the experience. And suddenly the momentum shifted, which is kind of the importance of ganks, of ganking properly. Now, for example, they did this and they had a camp going up at the same time, that's little bit different story. But even then, having control of this rotation is very important, or on the early game. Does that kind of make sense how we can kind of get back in it? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
another thing that I always like to look at is how kind of if we're behind catching up in rotations. One thing I don't see a lot of players do enough of. I'm gonna go back to Diablo because I love using Diablo as an example. His W. This is gonna sound really weird, but his W, just pressing it sometimes when you're like right here, like let's say we're behind in the rotation. They're rotating, this way, right? If they're up here and we know they're going down here and our team's right here, and the rest of our team is somewhere, down here in this general area, well, we don't even need to engage them. Like if we see them clearing the wave, as soon as we think they're about to head, as soon as they're done, like wait a second. If we just use our W and it just boop 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 dismounts. Dismounts are huge. Suddenly they're maybe they're 3-5 seconds ahead of us. Suddenly it's 2-4, or at worst, right? It's they lose 2-3 seconds. Or we could there's other heroes like that. You could have a Kalthos isn't a very good one. I don't know. I grabbed him. You could have Hanzo just fire W's. Like he's not very good at wave clear, but firing W's and hitting people and dismounting them, that's annoying. It's great. We want to be annoying. Does that all make sense? Like with all that, like how dismounting is important? Because
Yep.
again, like getting behind, it's not about staying behind. It's about how do we or getting behind. It's not about hey we got to catch up to them. It's hey we need to get ahead of them. Should be the mentality. And we got to the most important thing you can do is one, establish whatever vision you can have, and then two, use that to disrupt them, to get ahead of them, or at least give yourself a shot for either the previous situation I mentioned where there's a 4v3 situation where you could force a fight or could dominate a rotation, or two, do something like this to just slowly chip away at that. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I like
sorry.
that.
Yeah, sorry. I know
Diablo,
I'm confusing.
the Diablo dismount, I'm wondering he's going to want to be close to the minions to get souls.
Yeah,
So he's not always going to want to be in that bush when there's the
when
rotations
you're ahead,
waiting.
you can actually do the when you're ahead or kind of like or if you're just like up here doing it instead, you could do it this way. Or
Mm.
alternatively that way, depending which side you're on.
Yeah, or like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Kind
and
of delay your rotation by a second to delay theirs by like three or
again,
something.
there's specific heroes that are just really obnoxiously good at it. Like again, I mentioned Hanzo. Here, I hope I'm using the blue side properly. There's Junkrat. Junkrat, you could even like put like a mine here, for example. Again, I'm flipping through maps because I'm being more general. But the
Well,
big
so something that he was saying about like Diablo getting souls, it just seems like a great place to ask this if I can. Um, so Diablo Souls is a great example. Several tanks have unlimited stacking globe quests, which seems like it pulls them into focusing on getting globes, which is taking them out of these strategic positions. And so knowing where to sacrifice globes or the vision because you want to get those souls or globes like back and forth like seems like one a frustration from the tank role but also something else that like where how do we weigh those costs.
well, there's not really there's a couple globe quests. I'd say there's probably what 5 on tanks, right? There's
Ariel, Joe, and Stitches are infinite stacking.
oh, and then there's also a Nubarak in ETC. Okay, so I guess that's 7. But um, the key thing is that your job isn't to wave clear. As a frontliner, your main job is to protect the back line, or and to make sure that you maintain vision. And then the DPS backline's job is to maintain the front line and also usually handle the wave clear. Now, again, kind of it depends on heroes. Johanna clears waves, but Diablo you shouldn't be clearing waves. You should be near the wave, but you shouldn't be clearing it. So I know I'm talking about, but when you're behind, you kind of have to sacrifice some of that, just as the way it goes. There are ways to alleviate that. Like again, I have 2 heroes right here that are just stupid good at stopping what the other team's doing. So like again, Hanzo could just go pew 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 and fire 9 things that way. Junkrat could just slowly fire Qs here and just dismount and force them to walk down. Chromie's another one who can fire spells. Li Ming can spam her Q nonstop. There is again, it is not like a yes no question. It depends, and that's kind of the hard part about that. And it also not just the heroes that you have or the heroes the enemy has, but or even the map, but just situations. Like early, I would say like pre 2 minutes, I would say you probably don't want to sacrifice that, but post 2 minutes, you kind of have to, and it's kind of not as big of a deal, I don't think, if that makes sense. That's not a general rule, but that's kind of a general. It's kind of a general feel, like that's a lot of those situations are general feel, and I kind of hope that giving this insight with vision kind of helps with that general feel understanding, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was related.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. So I've kind of talked about, like what you can do with vision, and or how to get vision and how to get back. But I never really told you what you can do with vision yet, and that's kind of, I forget which one of you asked me beforehand, but that's kind of where we're going next. So right here, your blue team, you have no idea where Samuro is, but you probably figure he's here. You have no idea where Nubrak is. Spoilers, he's right there, and he can absolutely kill her if she steps up. So, scared, they can't really do anything. Scared. Got to be a little careful because, again, they don't know where Nubrak is. Got to be a little careful because they don't know where Nubrak is. Probably feeling a little bit brave. But not too brave. Whereas you look at the red team, probably no Lunara's there. Not really worried about Johanna. No, those 2 are there. And they can see everything coming, so they don't have anything to be afraid of, because as soon as something scary shows up, they can just walk the other way. Just gone. No issues. So this is kind of a very simple view of it right now, but let me go for a more advanced example. I'm going to not use Dragonshire because I'm going to be doing a coaching session on that next. So a really easy example I have, and this is something that I think everybody kind of gets, but I just like reiterating it. If you see, let's say you're offlaning and you're playing. Let's pick a fun hero. Let's pick Sonya. You're offlaning and you're Sonya. As soon as you see 5 enemy heroes, like down here or over here, and like there's no objective, you can just run at these. You can, if we're on the blue side, dang it, I got it on the wrong sides. But if you're on the blue sides, dang it, I got the wrong lines again. You can literally just run it down this way. There's absolutely nothing they can do to surprise you if you have vision of them. You can literally just free hit buildings, which sounds really, which to a lot of newer players I find, they tend to think, oh, that's wrong, I should fight. No, the whole point of the game is you kill the buildings, and then you kill the core. You don't win by winning fights, you win by killing the core. That's the ultimate goal. And vision, again, like, makes that easier. And by having the vision, we actually, like, vision makes that easier. By having the vision, we can freely do this, right? That sounds real. Like, I know whenever I coach a lot of, I notice whenever I coach a lot of silver and like gold level players, for some reason that's like an issue for a lot of them. They're like, I don't, like they're like, really? You could just do that? I'm like, yeah. If you see all 5 of them, just go hit the buildings. If your teammates are mad at you, tell them don't fight. Just tell them keep them busy. As soon as you don't see them, you run the heck away and you're chilling. And here's the thing: if you're free hitting and nothing down there is happening, you're winning the game. You are winning the game. You're not losing anything. You're winning the game. Now, if they get a couple kills, that might be an issue. But if you're doing this, you are winning the game. If you got 2 heroes up here doing this, you're winning it faster. If it's a 3v5 and you got 3 people down here just keeping them busy, staying safe, staying by your wall, they're doing great work. They're doing fantastic. They're doing basically perfect. If there's just 2 people up here, just free AFK, like free PvE hitting the wall, perfect, perfect, just absolutely perfect. If the 5 enemy heroes are not responding to us, we are free winning the game, and that's kind of again that's kind of there's kind of weird peaks and valleys with this, where I find a lot of ranks, like even a lot of master players don't understand that. Like I've had and kind of going off that, soak is kind of the same way, double soaking. If you have full vision of the enemy team and you're just, you're again, I'm an offlaner player, but I didn't mention this, but I'm an offlaner player by trade. If I'm playing, let's switch to towers. This is a great map. If I'm playing, you know, Rexar, and I'm just free, my team's providing me full vision, and I'm just, here, let me choose a brighter color, because I'm just free double soaking, and my tank is, let's say my tank is a Diablo again, and they're just free giving me vision. I have view of basically everyone but the other offlaner, who I'm not that afraid of, generally they're not going to kill, you're generally not going to die in a one-on-one to an offlaner, right? But I'm just free clearing waves. I'm winning the game. Like, unless they're going faster than me wave clearing, I'm winning, I'm winning my team the game. I'm doing my job. My tank's doing their job. It doesn't sound that complex when I put it that way, but there's a lot of complexity to it by keeping focused on your minimap, which should be somewhere over here when you're actually playing the game. Does that all make sense?
I have a question about this scenario, because like you, I'm an offlaner and I'm double soaking on this map often. And you have Diablo positioning right there as your basically your vision dismounting tank, so they're not able to gank you. So the other 3 people are getting camps and clearing bot. Should the tank be essentially mirroring the enemy 4-man to dismount and keep vision, or should he be standing in that area? What are your thoughts?
The enemy what? The enemy tank?
No, you're my tank. So Diablo in this scenario. So if I'm Rexar and my tank is Diablo.
Yeah, like they should, honestly, like most of the time they should be just spamming W, unless they're setting up for a surprise. Which generally you wouldn't do from this bush. Generally, if you're surprised, you're like, gosh, I keep doing the wrong thing where I'm blue and I'm showing us on red side, but let's pretend that this is the red side. These are the bad people.
Actually, you know what would help? Give me the other 3 people on the team as well. Just throw any 3 people down.
Okay. Let's say that. There we go.
All right. So these 3 people are more or less soaking bot and doing camps, correct?
Kind of. So the tank, part of the vision, and this is actually a great you're giving me a great segue for the tank. But in offlaner on this map, bouncing up and down, but tank, they're kind of doing the same thing, but they're, instead of hitting and clearing the waves, that if they're in control of the vision, they're just Dang it, I chose the wrong line. They're just going up and down. Like, they're going up and down. And getting dismounts sometimes is important, but sometimes you're looking for kills. There's kind of a give and a take. Like you kind of, again, it's all feel of the game. There's different games, different situations. Like with a Maiev, you probably would want to go for an engage more with a Maiev on your team, whereas if I switch that to Rainer, maybe not so much, because Maiev more quick kill. Although,
Okay.
maybe. Depends. Actually, with Malf, yeah, you actually kind of would want to do that, because you stun them and Malf roots them, they're dead. So, again, it depends.
You
But
can find like someone leaking away from their team too far, you're going for the gank, but otherwise you're going for dismounts and vision.
yeah. So, but the big thing is, if they should be trying to get everybody in vision. Now, again, sometimes you're just not going to do that. Sometimes the enemy will do a camp, and then one of them will split this way. Your tank's not going to catch that. Like, but when that happens, this is kind of going to coordinated play more so than anything else. I'm going to start with coordinated and then go to like solo queue, basically. With coordinated play, you should be aware, hey, I haven't seen this hero for 5 seconds. Like, I got to be more careful. And when 5 turns 10, 10, 15, if I'm the Rexar, I'm like, okay, I got to be a little careful. Fortunately, Rexar has Misha, so that's like a free safety. But, if I'm someone squishier in the off lane, like, for, like an Illidan, well, shoot, I'm staying in one lane. I'm just like staying, I'm staying back from the wave. I'm like, hey, someone catch mid or find where this hero is. I don't know where they're at. For solo queue, you kind of just have to eliminate the hey, like you can ping or you can ask in text chat, but
Mm-hmm.
those are kind of unreliable because you never know. I've also asked a lot in tier league and I've gotten really bad information on vision and it's wrong. That sucks. I'm sure we've all been there. But yeah, generally, like again with this comp, like if I'm Diablo, I want to run like not just stay in the bush, but go from bush to bush. If I'm feeling really saucy or have really good vision, I can go. I don't even do like I don't. I'm not gonna go that way. I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go this bush to that bush. I'm gonna ignore that bush. I don't need that bush. These are the two bushes I need. That's kind of, and then your team can rotate that way, and they can't rotate that way, which also sets us up a situation. So we're kind of I think what you're kind of getting is there's kind of a focus on the 4-man down here, for example, like maybe
Mm-hmm.
getting fights down here. But by doing this, like splitting up this actually creates two situations. Not just is this team stuck down here where they have to fight on 4v4, which they may be at an advantage, the other team may be at an advantage in. But if the offlaner steps up, if let's say they have
Right.
the one I always think of, I'm always afraid of getting ganked on this map is Malthael. If Malthael's just right here, if he gets wall banged, he's dead. With these three in the proximity, he's dead. Just all you need is two of them, and he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's no fun. It's not a fun time for the Malthael. The Rexer's like, yeehaw, I'm riding a pony. Or, I'm riding a pony, I got a freaking bear. I got two animals, you only got one. Free game, right? Does this kind of all make sense? I know it looks like some stupid football play.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at is a lot of the vision stuff. Again, it's not just staying still. Like staying still is important. Kala, he used to be the coach of Tempo Storm in HGC, and he used to always tell people, including when he coached me 3 or 4 times, become the bush to a lot of offlaners and tanks, where literally you just stay in a bush for 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds. And that can be very valuable. But again, it's all about feeling situations. And a lot of this is just you try stuff and it fails. Uh, with vision, where hey, I have vision of this, I'm going to try to do this. Well, if you fail with it, it's generally not going to be as big of an issue if you have the vision, whereas if you fail and you don't have the vision. So I guess kind of what I'm saying is experiment with these leads a little bit and kind of be willing to lose some stuff, but not, but learn from it and kind of just remember that's different situations, different things. Sometimes you want to be just, I'm just staying in this bush. I'm just staying in this bush, for 40 for 30, up to 40 seconds sometimes. Sometimes, I've had games before where, and again, the late game, it gets longer. Like, if you want to stay in a bush for like a minute in late game, that can be like genius, if you're, if suddenly nothing's happening, it's level 20, and your whole 5-man is just like, hey, Diablo, hey, Sonya, hey, Karazim, we're all just going to live in this bush. And we're waiting for this, we're waiting for, where's it going?
Or Malthael.
Poor Malthael. I feel bad beating him up, but we're waiting for Malthael and we're killing him, right? If you just do that for a minute, sometimes that's like great call, You never know what's going to happen out of that, right? Granted, that's actually a terrible example with Malthael because he has buyback. Dahak would be a better example. Because you kill him, he's off the map. What's the other team going to do? Like, late game, you're generally going to be 5. So that's something I kind of haven't gotten into yet, but late game vision is kind of even more important to a degree. Like, you're not going to have, generally one team's not going to have as much control as vision on this map because, just the structure of the map. If you're up a structure, yeah, your area of safety is probably a lot bigger, but let's go to a more traditional map like Infernal Shrines, for example, where we're this team, this is us, and we've taken out that's gone, that's gone, that's gone, that's gone, that's gone, right? Like we've just taken all these things are gone, right? Just absolutely nothing. Like we've wiped out all this, and they've let's just say they took out that, just to be fair. They can still bush anywhere, like same as us at level 20. If we're both level 20, they could still just as easily be right there as we could be right there. But the thing is, because we have all these buildings and usually the waves are more shoved out, we can kind of there's more to navigate. I would say, like in the lanes, we can kind of navigate here more sneakily if our waves are up here than they could. That is something to keep track of. And if you're having, your waves are just, your waves are going all the way, they're crashing right here, for example. If you see an enemy up here, you can just know, hey, we can, if, like level 20, you see an enemy up here, and like let's say we see Gazel up here. We see him up there. We're like, hey, we saw Gazel up here. We can just 5-man, just run it down, sit in that bush. Or we can just take this camp. Or we can take this camp because we know he's not going to be here for 10, 15 seconds. Kind of in the mid-late game, so like 10 to 20. We could also, another situation on this map, we see, our tank, like we have all these buildings down. Let's say we've taken out, let's say they don't have that, and they don't have that, and they don't have any of this. And we're offlaning, and, our tank up here getting vision, and he spot 4 of them, and we kind of know that, we kind of get a sense that, they have an enemy. Let's just keep beating up on Malthiel because I feel like hating him right now. Dang it, wrong team. But yeah, let's say we kind of know their Malthiel's just chilling down here, covering up the blue Malthiel, and we're playing Leorc. Well, we could. Damn it, I chose the wrong color again. we can with this. I also chose the wrong Diablo color too. I'm just realizing, man, I'm like not doing good today. The colors
Pick
are
the
beating me.
opposite of whatever one you think initially.
It's because the red's on this side, the blue's on this side. It's I just realized it's reversed. But if we're right here and our tank's right there, I mean we can do. I mean you can kind of just ask yourself what can you do, and again we can't see the menu waves because I'm just using a blank map. But we can free clear here, we can free clear here, we can free clear here. We could maybe start this with maybe a DPS. If we know he's there, then there's so much we could do. Or if we're alternatively, if I'm gonna pick the right colors this time, I promise. If the other way, if we're the other way around, and instead of, like let's say it's an even game, so there's no that, there's no that, there's no this, and there's no this, but these are still up. And let's say, no, I'm not gonna select that hero. You didn't see that, she's not there. Did I get her that time? Damn it, the technology's beating me right now. It happens. This is why I'm not the one teaching you how to reprogram the game. But yeah, like let's say like this is a common situation I run in all the time. Like as I play Sonya a lot on this map, and I win a lot on this map because this hero is busted on this map. Like let's say we see their let's say we see their tank and their offlaner and one of their DPS bottom. So we're beating up on Malthiel because we hate him right now. Let's go with the Nubrek because I feel like hating him right now. And let's go with, let's say Kael'thas is their big burst here. We see them. Well, if I'm playing Sonya, you know what I'm doing?
Hidden buildings.
I'm hitting buildings. Or I'm soaking, but mostly I'm hitting buildings. And this is something you can also do with vision. Like that's really good. Last thing on this map that I actually really like with vision, this is like super busted. This is a tactic that's so simple, but I think so I played in Div S, which was kind of like, wasn't quite CCL level, but it was like the highest league in NA probably in 2019 and 2020, right? And we had my team based off our coach who used to be a HGC coach, taught us these strats that were just like stupid good. Where he told me just to play Sonya every game, and anytime there was a shrine here or here, I would just double soak through the shrine as soon as we established vision of all 5 of them, or I would double soak / siege or just straight siege. One of the 3, and it was so fun because I got to choose whichever I wanted because I was not only the drafter, I was the shot caller, so I got to choose where I got to run my head at, which was great. But like let's just say for an example, the objective is right here, and we see all 5 of the heroes, like just all 5 of them. My team can literally just chill out up here and just be like, hey, we're here to annoy you, and I'm just like doing the waves. As soon as the other team starts to back out, like I'm gonna start off real simple, uh, because there's like 9 layers to this, but I can literally just free do this as soon as I see all 5 of them because I don't have to worry about anything. It's like I'm the only one on the map. This whole part of the map, I'm the only one here. It's like my own little like it's like I'm Russia and everyone else is like I don't know Ukraine. They're just small to me, you know. They're so far away. I'm just chilling, you know. So I would just free do this, which you're like, that's simple and stupid. Well, yeah, it is, but there's an extra layer. As soon as the other team, because again, while doing this, my team would establish vision. So my tank just like, hey, I'm in this bush. You're not gonna step up to me because we have a wall here and you don't want to get shot by it. So the other team would actually sometimes step up into this wall, and my team would just be like, hey, we're walking away. And sometimes the other team would be extra saucy, and my team would actually get kills because they would just like straight up like run in like suddenly there's a Diablo right here and suddenly he's dead. At which point, you know, my brain, I'm going from yay, I got 3 options to yay, I own this country to hey, I own all of this now. So to where hey, the play might actually be I go up here and we win the objective after I double soaked. Purely because my tank just sat in this bush and I used the wrong Diablo color. Uh just off that basic play, right? But another thing that can happen is my team just stays here, and you know we're not winning the objective. We're giving it up, and let's say you know like we got a Rainer here, and he's just going pew pew. That's a Tychus, but we'll use Tychus anyway because he's good. You know we got no, we won't. We're using Rainer. I lied. Our Rainer's just free. You know he's going pew pew, just shooting heroes, maybe clearing the wave, just making sure that you know and kind of making sure that no one's sneaking out. And if someone does start to sneak out, maybe we have like another. Maybe he wanders over here while Tychus disappears off the map. And assuming, again, this is all depending on our view of the tank. So if we have view of their tank and they're offlane or they're both just up here, and Rainer knows he can be right here, he can just be right here and just, he can hit them. He can deny rotations. And again, that just means I get to be big brain and just hit buildings like a very big brain genius. And what's the other team going to do? If they win the objective, like, okay, you won the objective, you're down 2 levels. You're down 7s, you won the objective, congrats, but you're going to lose the next one because you're going to be down 10s probably, maybe 13s. Or if you screw up real bad, you're going to lose the objective and leave up all that wave clear, and the game's essentially over. But you guys kind of see how like they kind of bounce off, and there's like this is really simple and stupid, but there's like layers to it. If the other team does this, like the other team's basically checkmated themselves to a degree with the wave clear. But as soon and if my team established vision of all 5, I know I'm just showing Diablo, but let's just throw in some heroes. Yay, yay. Man, that's some bad wave clear right there. And yeah, like let's say that those are 5 heroes, and we just have total vision of them. We know they're doing it. If they win it, yeah, that's kind of a loss. Like in terms of losing the objective, we're gonna lose the wall, maybe the well. We're not gonna lose much more. They're gonna probably lose all that in both lanes. Like we're looking at a trade where we get that and that and that and that, and this is purely off a play of my tank just sitting in this bush. The most basic play, any player can do it. Not pushing buttons is free. And identifying 5 heroes, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm in go mode. I'm wave clearing this. I know let me just erase all these lines because there's a million of them, but as Sonya, I'm literally just running around this way. And there's nothing they can do. I can siege. I could siege here. I could soak. I can, you know, like I could again, like maybe I can do this, and maybe another play I haven't mentioned yet is, you know, let's say the thrall sneaks out. As soon as he sneaks out, we're probably gonna have vision of him. I could like I've been hitting waves. They're like thinking, hey, he's gonna keep hitting waves. I could sneak up here, and then suddenly I'm up here. I probably wouldn't want to gank that way. I would want to gank this way. I gank this way, or tank walks in. We're in a 5v4. We win. We win the fight. We win the objective. They try to match us, and guess what? They're not just behind and soak, trying to catch up to the wave clear I already did. Now we get the objective from them, and they're kind of screwed. And all that again is just because my tank just decides to do the really basic play of just standing in a bush. You guys see how fun it is to play with vision?
Yeah.
Oh, I love hitting buildings for free. But that's one of the plays with that's kind of a simple play with vision is just using it to bounce off waves, and again, like free clearing. One of the best plays my team BXA ever made. This is a hilarious play. I'm gonna do it at my own expense, but the other team. So
So, can I ask a question real quick?
yeah, go ahead.
Would you do that strategy of basically giving up the first shrine for the double soak? Would you use that same comp every game, or would you see what kind of comp you had versus the opponent? Like, if you had a super early game comp and they had a very late game comp, would you go for the shrine more often, or?
If they had a super late game comp, then they're just that's actually better reason to go into that. Doing that into an early game comp is a little harder for my team to stay alive, assuming they have like a Kerrigan. But generally, we would pick like a Johanna to be safe.
Okay. That
Uh,
makes sense because we run a lot of Kerrigan, and I was like, should I be doing that when our early game's so strong that we want to win that first
you
shrine and
can you
just
can still
snowball
do it
them,
with
you know?
early
Or
game. Honest, again, like Kerrigan is really good when you're ahead. That's just, I mean, like how do they they don't want to trade with you ever if you're Kerrigan and you're ahead. Like if you know your Sonya soaking. First off, Sonya Kerrigan's an insane combo because Sonya's one of Kerrigan's counters, right? Or was it
yeah,
the
for
other way
sure.
around? Yeah, no, I'm right. There used to be an old pyramid where it was Kerrigan, Sonya, Illidan, but then Sonya just kind of won the whole thing. But yeah, um, does that kind of answer your question?
I think so. Yeah.
Um, I don't think I have a replay for that set, but because again, but I could definitely send you one, Taco, if that's all right, just to like show you a basic play. But it's really not. It's more common than you think. If you probably watch any CCL match, you'd probably catch it. Yeah, I'll try to. I think I'll try to send you that on, if that's all right, Taco, because that's kind of a different thing. But I think I could definitely help that. Uh, anyways, I'm gonna get this story. This is kind of hilarious, but so I was playing Dahaka this game, right? And you all can still see my screen, right?
Yes.
Sorry, my Discord's freaking me out for a sec. But I was playing Dahaka, right? And on this map, honestly, this might be a great segue for the next what I'm doing. But I'm just chilling down here. We got like I don't know. My team's got like something like this. No, that's not the hero I'm clicking. Damn it. Just pretend you didn't see that. We got something like, where's Rainer at? That's not Rainer. I keep thinking that's Rainer. I'm really bad at this game. Oh no. I'm forgetting my alphabet right
DeAndre
now.
Jimmy.
Yeah, like my team's running this, right? And this is a hilarious vision play. You're gonna laugh at this. So, this is an actual Div S match. We're facing the number 2 team. My team was like dead last in the standing of this, and we spanked them the first 2 games. In game 3, we're kind of beating them a little bit, but they're getting mad at me all set long because they can't kill me. And they do this hilarious play that kind of, the casters thought it was hilarious that I died. I thought it was this, but I kind of just spoiled it. But they're gonna kill me right here because I don't have vision. But I kind of turned it into a good thing because at the same time that I give up vision, I know, I'm playing Dahaka. I'm just trying to hold this against a Chen. There's a lot going on. They got, no, it wasn't Falstad. They had Zeratul. They got all these heroes. They had like some DPS. I think they had like Sylvanas, I think. Yeah, they had like Sylvanas. They had a Malf, I think. Yeah. They had some roughly something like this. I know that at least these 3. All 5 of them show up here and gank me and kill me. It was kind of hilarious because the Chen barreled me into like this corner after Johanna blessed me. I think I got blessed. I got I think I got I'm not sure if they had Malfurion, but they had like someone who basically silenced me with an ult. So they threw 3 ults to kill me, and I just delayed so I could stay alive. Do you know why I delayed to stay alive?
They didn't
Because
cap the shrine.
you guys were getting DK.
No, it's even better than DK.
You guys were getting bottom fort and keep.
Yes. The whole time I see them coming, as soon as I saw 3 of them, I knew I was dead. So I was the shot caller. I mean, so I'm just like, team, you're killing fort. Like, run at fort right now. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. One of my teams is trying to argue. They're like, no, kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. I delayed my death using my vision, and because I did that, my team made the big brain play. They killed that. They killed one of these towers. They should have killed the whole wall, but they were one of them. They were fighting my call, and I was like, no, no, do it. And you're like, normally you're like, when I do a gank, you're like, man, that sucked. But they took them like 20 seconds to kill me, and it was all 5 of them. Maybe I'm probably exaggerating. It's probably close to like 12 seconds. Because I used my E, I used my essence, I used everything. I think I even used my ISO just to make someone not hit me for a while. And it took them so long that they lost all this. And then the whole
And you come
game,
back early because of Z.
huh?
And you come back early because of
Yeah.
Z.
And it was hilarious. Like after they did that, they had no control of bot lane. They had no vision. The tank player was just like, I'm going here, I'm going here. I know where they're at. Because, your safety, again, I kind of didn't go over this, but your safety vision is kind of tied to buildings because they provide some vision on top of being just a safety net. But their safety net is suddenly, it's gone from here to there, it's gone from up here to just over to like kind of like this wiggly line over here. So this camp isn't so free. They only have one safe out. Whereas, like, yeah, blue team only has one safe out too, but they also have, dig man up here. So as soon as we saw them on their camp right there, I dug. We got 4 kills, and we got that camp. We got this camp. We just ended purely because of the vision that I had. Hey, get this, which is kind of next level. I don't expect anyone to do that. I don't expect anyone to shot call when they're offlining. That's kind of like hurt. I basically was banging my head in the wall all the time because it's like, man, I got to look at 9 things at once. It was great. No, it wasn't. It was, but it wasn't. But yeah, it was is that kind of a funny story to know that like because they ganked me, we actually got more vision because they were so committed to something that they lost this and they got 1 kill and they probably got a little bit of siege, but they lost the thing that they really needed and that was control. And
Yeah,
when
that's
they
why we
lost,
like having. That's why we like having frustrating offlaners that make the other team angry because they put so much effort into killing someone like you there that it ends up being a cost to them.
yeah, that was the best death I've ever had in a coordinated match. If I could have that death every game, I would be happy. I don't mind my KDA going down. I like my win rate going up. Anyways, I think do you guys got any questions before
Yeah, hold on.
we
Can you hear me?
barely? Let me turn you up real quick. All right.
My Chris had an issue, so apologies on that. So that play you were doing, that you were describing, what level? The bottom line of my question was, actually, it's like when they're ganking you top, all 5 showing, you could get the structure 4 right now, but it only gives you a 25% increase over time of the XP. The structure's still really good, but early game, if you had the option, because it was like low level, like 4, would it be more worth it to go for double soak between mid and bot, just for the immediate XP boost, or would you focus more on the structure as a personal choice? One more valid than the other.
So for the level 4, are you talking? Which side are you talking about?
I'm saying like if so when they went to gank you, your team knew exactly where they all were. You could take structure, but my question is, why not double soak more on top of that before taking structure? Because the structure no longer gives immediate XP like it used to.
So the big reason is, again, like I kind of was saying this earlier, where the whole point of the game is that dies, and bot lane is kind of actually going to go great on my next point, but bot lane is the easiest lane to win at because you have all those, and you can those actually help a lot with siege, and also just it's the safest lane to play in when you have an advantage. If we have the whole wall, suddenly like our area of safety is huge. If we have both these walls, we just like everything right here is generally safe. And if they lose this, they cannot, like, if that's dead and they got to contest this, they can't, like, as soon as they walk up here, they're in no man's land. There's no structure for like a screen and a half up, right? So that's why it's a big deal. Is they've lost complete control of the not just the flow of the match, but they've lost complete control of the primary objective of the game, which is to control bot lane, which kind of just completely screwed them. Does that make sense? Does that kind of answer your question?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, on other maps it's a little different. Like, Tomb of the Spider Queen, for example, top lane is usually the lane people end in, but it's not like bot lane is usually the least likely to end, but the variability rate isn't as high. Whereas on Dragonshire, bot lane is the end lane, like generally speaking, which is my next coaching thing is gonna go over that. So you're gonna hear me say stuff like that a lot. So any more questions? I think any more questions before I kind of transition to the next one, which is Dragonshire, which I'm going over right now anyways.
Yeah, one question that's kind of about both, but can be generalized a bit. Wondering about invades, and just like kind of what you're looking for in terms of the status of the rest of the map when you're deciding whether or not an invade is safe. One that I kind of keep having differing opinions with different people on is invading the enemy siege camp like right after you take yours at 1 minute on Dragonshire.
So is this just Dragonshire or more general or kind of both?
Both.
Okay, kind of.
60 seconds.
I would say, nah, the timer doesn't matter. I can go, the next one I'm going to go through pretty quickly, but with Dragonshire, I would say if you have control of, if you can get control of kind of this area, like if let's say we're the blue team and we're trying to, that's theirs and we're trying to get it. If you have control of this and you kind of have a clue where it is, that can be a good call. But generally what you want to look for, and generally with all invades, is numbers. Do you have number? If you have a numbers advantage, you should, like let's say you see a second, if you see a second hero from their team, like let's say we see there's Zeratul up here, and there's and this camp is available, you should just run at it, or you should siege, one or the other. You should just do it immediately, like just everybody yell, go that way, go that way, go that. Your offlaner should be yelling it. Your tank should be yelling it. If everybody's yelling at it at each other, that's good job, good yelling. I'm happy. Whether or not you get it or not as big of a deal as you made the right decision, and the momentum kind of carries. That kind of answers your question. But yeah, if you don't have numbers, I would say, like if you know it's going to be a 4-on-4, for example, I would say it kind of depends on the comp, what you think your comp can do, because it's kind of a disadvantageous fight. But if you have a better early game comp, like let's say you have a Kerrigan on your team, and you have a Zarya, and you have like, I don't know, Diablo. So you kind of have an unkillable front line. You got like a mouth healing behind that. Like generally the teams, unless you're going way deep over here or way deep over here, generally you're not gonna die. Diablo kind of might, because he might be low on souls, but maybe Diablo's not the best example for that. But like generally you're not gonna die. Let's say it's Meriden actually. Like you're not gonna die, so the risk is a lot lower. Like the ultimate risk might be you just nothing happens and you lose the camp, which isn't the worst result per se, especially if you force their health bars lower, you force them to tap, you force them to back, and you kind of control rotations. But a lot of that's kind of touch and feel if it's 4-on-4 based on what your comp is. The one big thing I will say is if you have Dahaka, absolutely pull the trigger on that. Absolutely. As soon as the Dahaka, if the Dahaka is like cleared his next wave, or the next wave isn't for a while, absolutely pull the trigger. Just go, 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 go. Because that's a 5v4 and that's numbers. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Is that kind of all in the vision for everybody? Because just a heads up.
I
Okay.
have one question.
Yeah.
So, do you have any underrated like bush gank locations that you think people don't know about as much, or
That
just
one.
in
If you're
general
blue
on any of
team,
the maps?
if you're blue team and you're right there, that one's good. I think I got another thing open right here. My tabs are frozen. Uh-oh. Let's hope my browser didn't. Oh, nope, there we go. Alterac. Let's see. Alterac, there is one that I always like. Not a bush.
Ultrac has bushes?
Yeah. But this spot right here, I know I don't have the Mad Buddha coaching tool on, but right here, this bush, like if you're the blue team, like this one right here is really good. It's spicy. I would actually say these ones too. Like if you're just like hiding here sometimes, like any of these four, and again kind of mirrored here, can be good. I'm pretty sure this map is, what map is this one? Oh,
For Alterac 2, while you were there, I was just wondering, for the early game, like, where should the tank be out of vision? Because I feel like there's, like, nowhere to be out of vision near
there's no
the mid lane.
bushes. They should generally be denying rotations, either top or
Okay.
bottom. Just that's kind of sometimes you're kind of just doing your whole job is stopping them, and that's fine. If you're being
Okay,
annoying,
cool.
if you're being annoying, that means you're doing a good job. Whenever I call a player annoying, I call like a lot of players who are really good that I played against annoying. That's the highest compliment because that means they stopped me from doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I like winning. On this map, I would say if you're blue team, this bushes are underrated. I would say less the bushes is like using the angles on BOE. So this is actually a sneaky good angle. If you have like a Diablo and you're like just waiting here, and I don't know, like let's say you have an ally hero here, and you see someone right there. If you're in Q range and you're getting vision, like let's say even you're Wing over the wall, they're dead. If you're Muradin, kind of the same thing. You know, even Johanna could do plays with this with Blessed, where she just blesses someone and then just walks around and goes, "Yeehaw! I'm pressing W and I'm pressing D and I'm not dying." I'm kind of these bushes too can kind of be pretty interesting, but again, it's kind of the angles on this map. This map has a lot of weird, cool angles that I like to exploit. Does that answer your question? There's a couple more, but
It does.
generally it's kind of these weird curvatures that you should be looking for. Anywhere where you feel annoying, like, and again, like if it's late game, like literally just hiding in a bush on their side of the map. If you know like they're top side, and you're just like, hey, I'm gonna position our team right here. We're just gonna sit here for a minute because it's level 22 and we don't care. We just want to get one kill and then the game's over. Do that. That's fine. Even if nothing happens. Okay, you lost a minute. Maybe they took part of a wall. Oh no. You know?